All right, what's going on, Legionnaires? Man, it has been a minute, but we are back. Another episode of What If. This was the podcast about What If, where we talk about What If from Disney Plus.
Exactly right.
Before we jump in, I got a few things to remind you. If you are listening on YouTube, we are so bad at doing this, but we are going to get better at it.
Sure.
Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe.
Hit that bell.
Laser beam that bell, man. Make sure you know when our videos are coming out because they come out on a relatively regular basis.
Yeah, other than this beginning of the school year,
it's tough. You know, we got lives.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah, we're not just doing this.
We're just running a school in a pandemic.
Stuff. That's right. And
it's like not a big deal.
Not a big deal
until we realize like it's a
big
huge deal. It's a huge deal. And technically, we're running two schools in a pandemic. Both are virtual,
in person and out of person. Yeah. Oh, it's an out of body experience, but
no big deal.
So make sure you're doing that. And if you're listening to us on any of your podcast networks, just make sure you tell people about us so that they can start listening to us too.
That's right.
And we have a special announcement.
Spread the word.
Special announcement coming up as we get nearer and nearer to that 1 year anniversary and our 100th episode. We're getting really close to the 100th episode. We have some fancy schmancy stuff coming up.
Listen, we haven't been able to be on as much as we'd like to be.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're not doing things.
No, we're doing stuff.
Got some
we're doing all kinds of stuff
in store for October and November. October and November are going to hit Legion in the face.
Yo, man, October, November, December, all the way up to the new year. It's going to be, we got a lot of things launching. So one of the things, though, to keep in mind right now.
A lot of behind-the-scenes work going on right now to make sure we come out at our 1 year anniversary stronger than ever.
Coming out the gate.
Yeah.
So if you are not a Patreon supporter, think about clicking that link in the bio.
That's right.
If you become a Patreon supporter anytime in the month of September, or if you have been a Patreon supporter in the past,
loyal,
your names will be put into a raffle for a special Halloween-themed Zombie Edition T-shirt merch from the Legion.
That's right.
So you have a chance to win that
and
if you are a Patreon.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so,
they are.
You know.
Yeah. They're
Here
great.
we go.
Oh, yeah. All right, so enough getting out of that. Get that out of the way. We had some crazy episodes coming up here. First off, we have Doctor Strange.
I gotta pause for a moment.
Go for it.
Because we're talking about Doctor Strange, right?
We are.
We're talking about the episode where he loses his heart instead of his hands.
Oh,
right?
I love it. Yeah,
What is Doctor Strange? Talk to me about that for a moment.
Like in the comics, or just as a character?
As a character, what is he?
He's the Sorcerer. Well, he's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme. He's not there yet.
He's a sorcerer.
He's a sorcerer.
Is he?
Yeah, magic.
What's this right here, Greg?
Yeah, if you guys
What's this right here, Greg?
If you guys are joining us via YouTube, you can see we have a new addition here on the table.
That's right.
Our wonderful Patreon supporter, Andy, has been, and he's a good friend too, he has been making these sculptures. He made one of Logan a month or so ago.
Yes.
And it's got
my warrior format, yes.
Got everything going on. And
it's got
so
a lot.
He made known that there was going to be one of me coming up soon.
That's right, he did.
So I've been waiting for it, and it does not disappoint. I've got a guitar on the back, and I play a little bit of music. I've got magic in my hand, so I might be a Sorcerer Supreme or something. I got a spell
on
book
the path
at
the very least.
At least. I got a dragon egg down here with a dragon coming out of it, and lots of, I'm guessing, spell books or maybe just comic books.
It could be either. It could be both.
It could be both.
That's
it probably is both. He also gave me a spiked choker, which I'm not really sure what that means, but I'll take it.
You gotta like it.
It's pretty sweet, man.
It
looks awesome.
Looks awesome. Casting a spell out of your hand at the moment,
and it's like defensive. I like that.
100%.
I'm totally a more defensive than offensive. You're much more offensive. I'm much more.
Well,
defensive,
I mean, I
have
all the weapons. I have all the weapons. We make a good team in that way.
I've got a horn and a guitar, so I'm a good time at
even in Gloomhaven.
Happy hour.
You are the healer.
Yeah, I did choose to be the healer.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah,
here.
well, that's what's up, man.
He made the
that's
right
what's
choice
up.
For you as a sorcerer.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So, and I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Which I smile a lot, so
well,
I like
thank you, Andy.
Yeah,
want to
thanks,
be able
Andy.
to make sure we recognize that addition here as we continue to get closer and closer to the new
and very apropos
beginning of our celebration of our 1 year anniversary.
Very apropos, like you said, for Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
Man. I love it. So
let's talk Doctor Strange. Let's get into it.
All right, so this episode states, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And immediately when that came up on the screen, I thought he was going to have a heart transplant.
Exactly.
Actually, I
exactly the same idea.
I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to somehow switch places with Tony Stark and get like the shrapnel in his heart.
That's what you told me. Your first thought was like it was going to be something to do with his actual physical heart.
Actual heart, and the whole like Tony has a heart now.
And
kind of
I
thing.
said,
yeah.
What are you, an idiot?
Well, I thought
Come on!
into the MCU.
Couldn't go outside the literal. You went directly to the literal.
I went directly to the literal this time.
I know.
But it's not. It's Christine, and he's a completely different Doctor Strange at the beginning. He's completely different.
Yes. So even to start off the episode, he is very different because of the fact that Christine is with him. So we remember from
she
our
actually
Doctor
likes him.
Strange. Yeah, she likes him. Our Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
In this exact scene, asks Christine to join him to this exact ball, to this exact celebration of him and his accomplishments.
She's like,
and
no.
in our universe,
Yeah.
she's like, no.
She's like, you pompous, arrogant. I don't want to hear you talk about yourself for all
basically.
This, I don't want to do
If I
that.
remember correctly, she talks about how these things are all just about him, and she gets forgotten.
Yeah,
and so our this Doctor Strange, she's with him.
Christine's the center.
Yeah,
he makes it about her.
He is all focused on her, and he is not the pompous Doctor Strange that we know.
Right.
And the reason that we know that is because what he's being celebrated for is actually is a procedure that is very genuine and very and not self-centered.
It wasn't for his glory.
It wasn't exactly
like in
the
movie.
I was trying to get at.
In the movie, he purposefully takes things that are just difficult enough that they'll be like impressive.
Yep.
But not so difficult that it might risk his career.
Exactly. Or his reputation.
But this one, he's obviously done something selfless.
Yes.
And he's being celebrated for it. And Christine is all about it. And they get in the car together to go to this banquet. So completely different Doctor Strange.
It's a very different Strange from the get-go. And then we see his trajectory after the accident and losing Christine.
Yeah, she dies in the car accident. He doesn't get his hands crushed.
Yes.
Same thing kind of happens, though. Though he's not distracted by a phone call, he's more distracted by her and by like trying to get to trying to drive, and that somebody else is being reckless, and he ends up crashing.
I mean, it's actually not even his fault.
Well, he did try and go around that truck.
Yes, but he comes back into the lane,
and then the guy
he
hits from behind.
actually is fine.
Yeah, then the guy hits from behind.
He comes back into the lane correctly.
Yeah, you're
and then he's settled in, makes sure she's okay, and then they get drilled from behind.
Yeah, and then she dies, and his hands are fine. She dies, but the same result from the accident is what is from our universe is that he
follows the mystic arts
in order to get her back. He wants to be able to save her, kind of a thing. So a completely different. Instead of like I want to make myself into the amazing person I used to be.
Right.
He's like, no, I want to figure out how to bring her back because she's all that mattered to me.
So he accomplishes the same tasks.
Right.
He accomplishes the same things. He defeats
Dormammu and
in the same
takes
way.
over the sanctum and Ancient One dies and everything else.
All of
that
is the same.
Yeah.
Except now we fast forward, and I think it was 2 years afterwards.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's the 2-year anniversary of her death, and you see him sitting there with the eye. Which we know to be the time
traveler. Yeah.
And Wong cautioning him. And then we see something very strange happen where
Yeah. I like that.
Where he actually
goes
back in time to try and change the reality, and he does it over.
Oh, it's the worst, man.
And over.
It was so depressing.
It was really hard.
It was like
so
Groundhog
to
Day,
watch. Yeah.
but with no Bill Murray and no Groundhog.
And not funny.
Just Christine dying over and over again. The worst was that like he would do everything. He would not go.
Yep.
And then she'd still die somehow.
Exactly.
He would let her drive and she'd still die. He did everything. He would take different paths. He would go different ways. He would completely not go to the place, like drive her somewhere else entirely. And every single time she ended up dead, and he ended up by himself.
And we come to learn from the Ancient One.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
What did she tell him, man?
But this is a fixed point
in
the timeline. This cannot
be changed. There's absolutes, man. There's an absolute time point. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
At that moment,
great idea.
He we find out later that the Ancient One splits him in half.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, he's not a complete person in either part of this same universe.
Right.
There's two of them that exist.
Yeah.
And one is made the decision to actually walk away.
Right.
And
Not
no longer
pursue
trying to change this absolute point in time, and one that does.
Right. The one goes farther back into time.
Right.
To find these ancient books and witchcraft or sorcery.
Right.
And he goes back and he learns. And he learns for like thousands of years.
Yeah, we come
he
to
traps
realize
himself and learns and learns and learns.
Yeah, centuries.
Yeah.
Centuries. And not only does he learn, he absorbs.
Yeah, evil creatures in order because it's a specific kind of dark magic he's told about that could reverse this.
Yeah.
So he starts absorbing all these creatures. Starts with the garden gnome, works his way all the way back to that giant tentacle thing.
It's the same creature from the first What If.
Is it the one that went after Captain Carter?
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
I didn't recognize that.
Exact same
that's
creature.
so cool. All right.
And this is where, so you had
like
brought
that.
up before.
Yeah. Yes.
How things may tie in.
Right. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't.
I have
we
some
don't know.
theories about this tie-in because I don't believe that they would just cross over and show that same thing unless there was going to be a plan for showing ways that these different universes are going to cross over.
And you know what? To add to that, what's interesting is actually I saw this when I was working on creating the thumbnail for this episode.
Yeah, yeah.
At one moment when he's like freaking out and like shooting spells out, and there's all these different like they're not hexes, but like his spell symbols all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can actually see reflections of the faces of the characters from other episodes in them.
Really?
Yeah, so I saw...
See, I didn't catch that.
I didn't either until I was looking at a still frame of it, using it as a background for the thumbnail. I was like, what? Because it was like Captain Carter's face was in one of them. So
see, there's some
cool.
crazy stuff about this episode
that
I really like. So let's just cap off here.
All right, yeah.
The last thing is the Ancient One says to the Stephen Strange that didn't make the decision to go down this dark path that he's the only one who can stop his other self in this universe.
Right, and then it's
because the
Strange
universe
versus Strange.
Yeah, and the universe is disintegrating.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Falling to pieces around him.
Yeah. Yeah, so they fight.
So they fight, and
it's a sick fight.
I am so glad for this ending.
Yeah, oh yeah, me too.
I have said this time and time again. We need more villains to win.
Yeah.
And I don't mean win in the end, but at least win to some extent because we need to see that there is evil that is darker than what we can imagine. And that eventually there is a light that is greater than it that will overcome it.
Right, and the whole time it was going on, I just kept thinking like you can't win.
No,
because you've had a good amount of training, but this guy's been training for centuries.
No, but he's
there's
he's
no
had a good
way
amount of
you
training,
can win.
But if you think about this,
Yeah.
literally that specific Strange has had 2 years of training. It's actually 2 years.
Right, yeah, give or take.
It's to that exact moment.
Right, since he took over the Sanctum and everything. Or two since she died.
Two since she died.
So less than 2 years
Less
of training.
than 2 years, technically.
Yeah.
He's had hundreds of years to train.
And he's
I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way he wins.
He did the fusion dance with like several
fusion dance.
evil creatures.
Yes.
So come on. I mean,
he's
got like horns.
So there's
and
no way.
tentacles
I mean, and we saw it at the end how much
he crushed him.
Evil he had absorbed because
he turned into a beast.
Exactly. When he actually does free Christine.
Yeah, he
breaks the absolute
point. And because of that, the entire reality falls apart.
Right. And so there's a number of things I want to dig into.
Oh, yeah, me too. So it's going to be so good.
First thing I want to talk about here is
talk about it.
Tie-ins to this series.
Okay. Yep.
So this episode ends with Strange seeing his entire universe, the evil Strange seeing his entire universe collapse upon itself and fall inward to him. And the last thing he has is he's holding this Christine in his hands, dying again because of the thing that he did, which was break the absolute time point.
Yeah, he brought her back just to die.
And then we see him turn and talk directly to the Watcher.
He sees and talks to the Watcher. The Watcher talks back to him.
And talks back to him.
Which Uatu in the comics is
get on it.
He's the
get
worst.
On it.
He is the worst watcher ever. Like, he interferes all the time in the comics. I mean, he's the one who gave the ultimate nullifier to Reed Richards against Galactus, and he always
Who is the
steps
watcher for this watcher?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
This guy gets away with everything.
No, he's messed up. So, and we're seeing some of that where it's like, where he obviously, so a watcher should never, they're never supposed to get emotionally attached to who they watch.
Right.
And he, time and time again, we see, even in these episodes, that he has some kind of like, he wants to watch them. Yeah. He wants them to overcome. He wants it, whatever. So he has emotional
He even talks about it earlier on in this episode where he says, I could interfere, but would he even listen at this point?
Right.
And
exactly.
it's like,
you
actually shouldn't even have that
you shouldn't even
thought.
think about it.
You shouldn't even have that perspective.
And now he's conversing with Strange at
he's talking with Strange.
End. Yeah.
So in this moment, he says
Yeah.
that he can't do anything. And even if he could, he wouldn't.
Right.
Because it would compromise all of the other universes
Yeah.
that exist.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
And could create more problems than what this universe is already just itself dealing with.
Right. So in other words, what Strange has done may have damned his entire universe.
Right.
And his reality,
But
it's not stretching out to other people yet.
Exactly. Not yet.
Not yet.
And he's
still alive. The episode ends with him still in his cocoon.
He's by himself in his cocoon.
Yeah.
And what else is he?
He is the Sorcerer Supreme and like Demon Supreme.
Demon Supreme,
yeah,
Sorcerer
he's got
Supreme,
everything, man.
And he's ticked.
Yeah.
He
lost everything.
Sad?
All
he's
the
sad
time.
mad. He's sad mad. Okay? So he's
Yeah.
sad because he's watched this Christine die.
Like 30 times.
At least. And then, even after he figured out a way to save her, die anyways.
But and at that time, it was his fault.
Right.
Like, he killed her that time.
Right.
Like,
but then
that's
on
even
top
worse.
of that,
he
has a conversation with the Watcher.
And he doesn't do anything.
And the Watcher doesn't do anything to save Christine and his universe.
Right.
So,
right.
This guy who has absorbed all of the demonic energy in his universe and himself is angry, trapped, and got nothing but time on his hands.
So
here's my point.
Yeah.
I truly believe we are going to see this Strange again.
I was going to say, do you think I'm really going to go out here. Do you think we'll see him in Multiverse of Madness?
I don't know about that.
Think maybe he'll be like
I believe we are going to see him in What If that
at the end
breaks through into other universes, and
that's how we
is
get our
a
team
major villain.
Yeah.
He is the villain that everybody has to, across these other universes, team up to fight against.
That's how we get the team up.
That's how we get the team up that we discussed before.
You know, I'm not mad about that, though.
I am not mad about this idea.
This
if
version
that
of
is,
it.
if that's what happens,
yeah,
I'm not mad about it. I would like to see that.
I'd like to see them fight Demon Strange.
A Demon Strange villain
against everybody.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
like, that'd be sick.
Oh yeah.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah, so this opens up those possibilities.
So that's contained within What If. That's what I believe could happen within What If here is that we see this Strange become a villain that breaks across universes and others team up across those universes to fight against him.
To protect the multiverse.
Right. So what do we have so far? We've got Captain Carter.
Right.
So I believe she would show up.
Star-Lord T'Challa.
And
I mean, we've got Nick Fury from that episode.
Yeah, Nick Fury. Which could be.
He runs a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's good at numbers and stuff.
I believe
he's got one good eye.
We're going to be
I mean, come on. That's one more eye they have right now.
Great What If?
What if? What?
What if Nick Fury had 2 eyes?
What if Nick Fury had 3 eyes?
Yeah, there's an even better
What if?
What if? But you get my point.
They could. This could be the way. This could be
the
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would explain, the repeats. There's so many repeats of certain characters. I mean, we've seen them every now and then, and they get little bits, but it could. That could
I
be
think that could be what happens here. So I loved this episode because
I did too.
I love seeing a villain win.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, like, he didn't win. Technically, he lost.
Right.
But he lost to himself.
Yeah.
He lost to his own evil, actually, he lost to his own pride.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That's what he lost to.
Thinking that he could change reality.
Thinking he could change an absolute point. This isn't what happens if Doctor Strange loses his heart. This is what if Doctor Strange completely gives into his hubris?
Yeah, his demons.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was cool to see him battling demons from a different angle because he got to the same result of his hubris, but in a different way because he was rooted in something good. And again, we talk about this all the time, but Marvel villains are fantastic in that sense where there's always, for the most part, like the villain has something worth fighting for. And you agree to it with them. You know, like
to an extent.
I agree with Doctor Strange that I would, if the love of my life died, I would want to do everything to bring her back. So like, you can relate to that.
Horrible having a power in your hand,
right?
Where you believe you could do something about it, and then not be able to,
right? And then even like Thanos, we talked about before, like he's mad, but his desire ultimately was good. He wanted to balance the universe so that everyone would have the same opportunities.
Which is why in episode 2, when we looked at like there was another way to do it.
Yeah, and he was okay with moving.
He was
that
okay
way.
with moving to that direction. Yeah. There was another way, but he was ultimately like, this would have been more efficient, though.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
But I like that. So that's cool. I like that.
There's another way to do it, but it's going to be harder.
Yeah. Right. But he was convinced that morally it would be the right road, which is what Star-Lord did. Well, T'Challa, Star-Lord, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I guess he was called Star-Lord, right?
Yeah.
All right. So one other thing, though, before we wrap this episode up, is you and I talked a little bit outside of the podcast about our theories on absolute points and how they affect the greater MCU. And we're just going to put this out here because it's a theory that I haven't read, I haven't seen anywhere, and I haven't looked as much recently because I've been so ridiculously busy.
I really like this idea.
But I haven't really seen this around. And so we're going to say it now. It's September 13th, 2021.
Just turned 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
The great US of A.
Yes.
We are saying this is our theory here on why the Eternals movie, why the snap that brought everyone back. If you've seen the trailers, the snap that brought everyone back is creating this end of the world kind of event, right? Where the deviants are coming out and reality is at stake.
Yes.
Okay, and we're thinking, like, why? And all they explain is that there's so much energy involved that it created this problem, right?
Yeah.
Or enough energy that it could bring the deviants out.
Right, break the deviants out. Yep.
Yeah, so we thought, theory time, what if Thanos' snap was an absolute point?
Yeah.
And so the power of Hulk's nano-gauntlet snap to bring everyone back was enough power to reverse that absolute point, and so throw the reality into turmoil.
Yeah, I fully am. I'm bought into this idea because what we get a little bit of this alluded to is in our Eternals trailer.
Yes,
where the Hulk snap they say is essentially like wrong.
Right, it shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened.
Right,
and the reality that you and I talked about was Infinity War and Endgame happened so fast that nobody in Endgame, when they are sitting around the table plotting where are we going to get the energy stone or where are we going to get the Infinity Stones in time to be able to bring them together and undo what Thanos did.
Right.
Okay? Nobody in that moment sat and actually asked the question, should we do this?
Right. They were just thinking about how to fix it. They just wanted the solution.
Should we do this?
Right.
They were just asking, how can we do this?
Right.
And so my point with that is the Avengers may have been so blinded and so emotional that they may not have thought this is actually something that just we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And we have to move on.
We lost, and it happens.
We haven't thought through what the ramifications may be.
Right.
If we actually change this. We, as watchers of the TV series,
we're watchers.
have started to see
I gotta shave my head.
some of the ramifications of bringing all of these people back 5 years later.
Gonna wear big collars.
But what I'm saying is we are seeing the immediate ramifications.
Right, exactly.
What does somebody do who has been gone for 5 years and then returns?
Right.
Do they just go back to work? Where's my home?
Yeah.
Who am I married to?
Right.
Like all of these, those are very basic things.
They're super displaced.
However, nobody has sat to ask this amount of energy, this amount of power being released into the universe and changing the cosmic balance.
Is it good?
Is it right? Yeah. Should we have done it?
Someone did.
Who?
Thanos.
Thanos did.
He destroyed the stones so that he wouldn't have the temptation to use them again.
You are actually exactly right.
So he destroyed the stones because he knew that using them again to do something like that could end up having reality destructive possibilities, end results. So he knew.
Yeah, so actually so I want to clarify your point earlier.
Thanos was the good guy.
Thanos' snap.
No.
But Thanos' snap is essentially then what we're saying here. An absolute
is the absolute point in this particular
in this
reality.
Universe.
Because obviously it's not in T'Challa's Star-Lord reality.
Nope.
That's not part of it. But in this universe it is.
Thanos' snap is an absolute
That's what we're saying.
Hulk snap.
Right.
And what the Avengers did was
unnatural.
Essentially the same thing that Strange did in this universe to undo a absolute point.
Yeah, they couldn't live with not being able to avenge to their level.
They couldn't live with losing. They couldn't live with losing.
Yeah, they did avenge. They went out and they killed Thanos. They did avenge, but then they wanted to erase reality. They wanted to change the reality.
But their inability to accept
and move on
led them to a path where they have now created more damage.
Yes.
Than Thanos even.
Yeah, and we talked about the kind of the messed up aspect of it is that the majority of the people who made the choice aren't even around to deal with it.
They made this choice.
Yeah,
caused this
Cap's
problem.
Retired.
The Eternals now have
Tony's
to
retired.
Step in.
Black Widow's dead.
They rolled.
Yeah. Well, Black Widow died, and so did Tony.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're either dead or gone.
And then you know what it was? Cap also thought this through because he was like, you know why? Because he was just like,
I'm not going back.
He's like, I'm going way back. I'm going to live my life.
I'm
going to live my life, and then I'm not going to deal with the ramifications.
Yep. What are they going to do? Beat up an old man?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
But my point here.
Right. They're not.
This may be an absolute
the core
point.
6.
Yep.
It's Hawkeye and Hulk who are really dealing with it.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye's on his way to retirement. His new series comes out this November where he's apparently retiring.
Well, but the other part of that is he's now brought his family back.
Yeah.
And he may have brought them back to a worse universe.
Yeah.
Than when they were gone.
Yeah. Well, and again, this would play a lot into the ongoing theme the MCU has had of as people you don't know, you don't understand the ramifications of all the things that you create. Yep. Tony went through that whole arc of you don't understand the damage you can do or the things that happen. You do what you think is best, but then it could end up being the worst thing ever.
Tony had a unique arc.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
in that he made poor decisions.
Yeah.
Out of fear.
Yeah, out of wanting to do what's right, wanting to protect, and his fear of losing control.
Actually, you know what? I would actually just say all of his decisions, including this last one, were made out of fear. The only reason he bought in to doing the time travel was because he solved it.
Yep.
And because he didn't want to lose what he had.
Yeah, and I think the only act we really see Tony make that's not fearful, where it's not out of his own.
Is his own snap.
Is the snap?
Yeah,
because it's completely selfless.
Yeah, it's completely selfless.
The perfect way to cap his arc.
Yeah,
it was great.
Agreed.
But regardless,
I'm not trying to put Tony's arc down or
that's not the snap
down.
that ruined everything.
No.
It was Hulk's snap that ruined everything.
Right.
Tony's snap didn't ruin it. Tony's snap just killed Thanos' and his army.
Right.
That didn't ruin anything.
Yeah.
Hulk's snap, the one that ruined all the stuff, man.
Right, and that's what we have to. That's what we have to think through. Is this the route that we're going to see the Eternals play out in now?
Yeah, so we're calling it here, right now. Thanos' snap was an absolute point.
Yep.
Hulk's snap was the one that undid that absolute point and so doomed reality.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it happens.
I believe it. Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every week. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, same Legion.